I remember when I got out of the car and I saw him, and I just hugged him so tight, and I realized, this is my only child now. And then my husband came and joined the hug, and I realized, this is my family. This is my family now. So we went into the house, and you know with cell phones how quickly things can happen. Everybody found out about it so fast, and our house became really crazy really quickly. A lot of people in there. Finally, somebody said, Joan, you need to go to bed. It's going to be a long day tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow. So I did. I went to bed. And I woke up in the morning, and I could still hear people talking. I came out of my room, and S.A.R.A's door was shut. Her room was right next to mine. And I know it sounds weird, but I used to love to go in and peek on my kids and just say good morning. So I went to go say good morning to her. But she wasn't there. She didn't always come home. Just like you guys, you stay overnight at your friends, and she did the same. But then I remembered why she wasn't there. I went in and I sat on her bed, which was a mess. She hadn't made up her bed. I'm looking around her room. Think about your room. You guys left, oh, I don't know, an hour ago now. Before you left your room, before you walked out of your room, did you make sure everything got put away? You hung up every shirt, put every piece of paper away, right?
No.
No. My kids were the same. That was theirs, and we left them to do their things. And I'm looking around her room. Her backpack is in one corner with all of her homework all around it. Her uniform from the night before was in a pile in the other corner. Her purse was hanging on the back of the doorknob, which is always where it would be. Looking around at all the things that reminded me of her, because they made up her life, all I could think in my mind is, who is going to clean all this stuff up? Who does it belong to now? I knew very shortly I would be helping my daughter pack up her things, and we would be driving her off to college or to her first apartment or somewhere like that. She would be helping me. I'd be crying, I knew. I didn't think I'd be doing it by myself, and I wasn't ready. So I walked out and I shut the door and I left. It stayed shut for about a year. I would go back in periodically, and I'd lay on her bed and take a nap, or yell at her, take another nap, and talk to her, and smell her perfume. She loved Ralph Lauren, and she sprayed it on everything, and for a long time her room smelled. And then one day I opened the door and it didn't smell. About that same time, I realized, it's time to clean the room out. We have friends that come over that want to stay the night. That when it's time to go to bed, and I'm like, well, go sleep on S.A.R.A's bed. It's comfortable. They're like, it's creepy in there. I'm not going there. We'll just sleep on the floor or the couch. So I realized it's time to clean up her room. About that same time, a friend of mine said she'd like to give me a gift. Her talent is sewing, and she likes to make quilts. Do you guys know what those are? I brought one to show you. She had some suggestions, and I had a better one. I said, have you ever made a quilt out of clothing? Which would mean, or just items of all different textures and fabrics and styles and sizes. And she said, not really, but maybe we can do it together. My suggestion was to go through S.A.R.A's things and to make a memory quilt out of them. So this is what we did. This is completely S.A.R.A. This is the sheets off for bed. So it forced me to take the sheets off and just to start to do something. There's a lot of math involved in doing a quilt. I did not realize it. There's a lot of planning, logistics, thinking, especially when you want to organize it, and she really wanted to. The layout kind of is school. This is all over school things, like her flags and t-shirts and things from Guard. Days dating back to Northridge, Palm. There's some Valley View things up here. This area is dedicated to St. Patrick's and to her church things. S.A.R.A was confirmed about 6 months before she died. This is the shirt she wore at her confirmation. This scarf she wore every single day in Mexico, and we made sure that got put in a prominent place. I could tell you a story about every single square. Yeah. I bring this quilt to show you. S.A.R.A really did live. S.A.R.A had a lot of fun and did some neat things in her life. And I like having something like that that's tangible to show that. But then it stopped. It just stopped one day because she made a choice. A choice that affected her life. S.A.R.A was a beautiful 17-year-old girl. She wasn't perfect, I won't say that. I mean, she made her share of mistakes and bad choices as she was growing up. But this one was fatal. It was her last one. She can't do it over. She can't ask me for forgiveness. It won't happen. Perhaps you have done something right now you're thinking about that you are pretty disappointed in. You're upset at yourself about. Maybe you got out of the car just now when Mom dropped you off and you said something to her because she said something to you and you slammed the door and you didn't even look back. Or maybe not. I don't know what happens in your life. I don't know. A few years ago, we got a phone call from my son who told me, because I picked up the phone, that he had just been arrested and taken to jail, and I was his one phone call. My heart stopped. I took the phone and I gave it to his dad. I couldn't even talk to him. As I'm listening to their conversation, all I'm thinking is, what did he just do with his life? I'm disappointed in him, but I do know that when he had to make that call to me, I know how he felt and how disappointed he felt in himself. We got through that one. We got through it. He got through it. There are things that happen in your life that sometimes you think you won't be able to ever get through it. I can't fix this one. I can't change this one. Most of the time, we have a chance to fix something. You screwed up your math paper. Go to your teacher and say, you know what, I had a really bad day. Is there anything I can do to get extra credit? Most of the time, you have an option, a chance. Bump it up, do something. You broke Mom's favorite vase that's really, really old, and you did your best to glue it and then turn it around. The glue's still there, and she'll see it. Maybe one day you guys will laugh about it. Sometimes things happen that you can't fix. Those are the things that I like to say you learn from. You become strong.